Welcome to the Curve Effect, where confidence meets curves and beauty has no limits. I'm your host, Tammy Taylor, and this is your go-to space for fashion, health, beauty, and all things self-love. Here, we celebrate the power of curves, embrace our bodies unapologetically, and inspire each other to live our fullest, most fabulous lives. Whether it's the latest style trends, wellness tips, or real talk about the real journey to self-confidence, this is where you belong. So get ready to own your curves, walk in your power, and redefine beauty in your own terms. This is the Curve Effect. So let's go. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Tammy T, and the Curve Effect is back. I know you guys missed me because I missed you. It's been a minute, but again, we're back, and I got my model sister, Sincere the model. She's a curvy, award-winning curvy model, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about some things. What's going on, sis?
How you doing, love?
Hey, boo, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's so good to see you, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy evening to have this conversation with me because I think it's something that we need to talk about. I really do. As models, as professional models that's been in this game, award-winning models, both of us. So it's not like we just willy nilly. We true to this. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and I really just think it's a conversation that we need to have, and what it is about, I want to touch on how just because you're beautiful, just because you got a nice walk on the runway, just because you take phenomenal pictures, that does not mean that, you are all encompassed model, because the majority of your branding comes from what you do outside of that. And a lot of young models don't realize that. And just by experience, I've just seen people lose bookings and lose lose jobs because of the way they act, just in just the way they act outside of the runway. I mean, I've heard producers say, man, I don't want to work with her, I can't deal with her attitude, and she
Right.
don't get the job. And I'm just like, wow, because you're a great model, but you're not perceived as a great person. And
Right.
that is like something that I really want to get out there, something I want to push. That's part of what the Curve Effect is about. Of course, we're confident, but we don't want to be arrogant. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. So, got a question for you. Have you ever had to check somebody for how they treated another model backstage?
Ooh. Yeah. Let me see. I have. Again, it's the way how you do it. But yes, I've had to say something. Some things that I've seen that was not nice. I
Okay.
should.
What are some of the things that you've seen that's not nice? I mean, we do
Um.
most of our shows together, so if you saw it, I saw it too. But what are some of the things you recall that you've seen that were just, like, why did you do that?
One of the things I can recall was actually, I would say, it's almost like body shaming, so to
Oh,
speak. A comment
mm-hmm,
that was made towards someone else,
mm-hmm,
and I just I had to let her know that was not okay. Like that wasn't nice. You shouldn't have said that. You know, um, and of course, coming from me, it was just like, oh, I was like, no, that wasn't okay. To say that because your delivery and the way you said it was very. I took offense to it.
mm-hmm,
Because I am a
mm-hmm.
Christian model.
Right.
So yeah, I've had to say something before.
Oh, yeah. And again, the body shaming is one of the bigger things. Now, we're both curvy models, and we, and we, like I said, we true to this. We've been doing it, and so when you have another model and she's talking about, she's offending or saying things about one model who's also curvy, it's not just that one model that you're offending. You're offending all of us. you
Right.
know, and then you never know when you're backstage, when we're backstage at these fashion shows, we're all in this one room, we getting dressed, we trying to do this, we doing
Right.
this, and we can hear what you're saying. So when you're body shaming another curvy model, now you maybe your insult was geared toward this particular woman, but you talking about all of us, and
Correct.
you never know who's there at these shows.
Never know.
You never know what the next model's gonna elevate to in these shows. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
know, because you know what I'm saying. You got. I'm just,
Yeah.
you never know what the next step is for the next person. So when you brand yourself as this professional model, but then you act up
Ugly.
outside, yeah, you act ugly when you act ugly. That's part of your brand as well. Your brand is more so,
Exactly.
yeah, your brand is more so of what you do outside of all of that, outside of the spotlight, how you
Yeah.
treat people. That's your brand when it comes to this. Now, of course, you know, me. Well, I'm gonna just talk about me. When I started, I was model. I was doing all the shows, every show I can. Yes, I was body shamed. Yes, I had people look me up and down. Yes, this, and then I had people who didn't see or didn't know who I knew, or didn't have any idea the they didn't have any idea what my goals were. So of course they treated me a certain way. I'd walk in, I'd be somewhere, and they'd be like, "What you doing here? Like I ain't supposed to be here." You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And at that time, it kind of made me shrink a little bit.
Hmm.
They're like, "What you doing here?" And I was almost like, "Dang, what am I doing here?"
Right.
Because I didn't have, I was just getting there. But the people now that are saying that, they trying to get in the rooms that I get invited to now.
Yeah.
You know, you want to
Exactly.
be, you want to ride, you want to be my plus one now. You know what I'm saying? So, the tables turn, and
Yeah.
you don't think about the tables turning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you don't, yeah, and you just don't think about how the tables turn. And so when you get into positions that when you get into situations or positions that you are expected to be excellent,
Hmm.
we're expected to be respected, to have a level of excellence when we do our jobs.
Yeah, because we have to work even harder.
Yes, curvy models, we have to work even harder. Exactly, because we are curvy. So they'd already expect us to be on a certain level. They're expecting us to be here.
Right.
They're expecting us to be like right here, and
Hmm.
everybody else is up here. So we actually have to show out, and and people are surprised.
Yeah. And you've taught me that. Like, even, you always like, look, says, always practice, 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 practice. You used to always say that. And, so, I end up getting just in a habit. I'll be at home and I'm walking, and walking past the mirror. It was just like, just something I always do. Because when you get in the habit of it, when it's time to hit the runway, isn't you're natural.
Right, right. So, and that's what I teach. Even when I do my workshops, I say you practice, practice,
Exactly.
practice. So you're not. So when you get on the road, you're not thinking about it because it's something that you naturally do.
Right.
Even
Right.
when I'm in the store, people ask me if I'm a model, and I don't even be doing no model. I just be walking.
I get it at work. Look, I actually just got it not too long ago. I was walking down the hall into the lab and I had some specimens and I dropped, put them to the, on the machine, and I was coming back. It's a long hallway. So I walk up and down that hall and I practice. And I'm walking and they say, one of my coworkers see me and they said, "Okay, are you on the runway?" 'Cause I was walking and I spun around
I know, right? Because it has
in my
it's
lab coat.
right. And just to let everybody know, when you say specimens, you are a lab technician. So you are
Yeah.
definitely, you have
Yeah.
taken time to, on your break to, to sit with
Of
me today
course.
in your
Yeah.
lab coat, doing your thing. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you talking to me about this, because this is something that we actually talk about amongst, we're good friends, and this is something that we talk about, and So, girl, but girl, yeah, man, don't let me be so weird. Don't let me be so weird. I see a long aisle. It hit me. Boom.
It's mine. I own it. I'm just like, look, when I came to work today, usually I had my hair, it's pinned up. I normally have my hair pinned up. And so
Hmm.
I had it down. And so I'm coming around and she said, well, okay then. Your hair was in the wind and you cut the corner like you was just.
Girl, what you saying? You can't help it. It's in you.
And I was in practice mode, like literally to myself, but I didn't realize that when I came around, they were all looking at me like, okay, you
Hmm.
gonna run? I was just like.
Hmm. Right, girl. It's
So,
funny. That's funny because I have the same. I experienced the same thing. Now let me ask you something though. Your brand, okay? Again, because again, each model has their own brand. How has your brand evolved from when you first started? Because again, I was with you when you first started, so and I can see how you have evolved. But how, in your mind, your brand has evolved?
wow. I mean, whoo, tremendously, I would say, from my modeling to my Let's Talk Health and Wellness with my podcast and, everything just like full circle, and I work so hard, so I know that since from when I first started, it definitely has evolved a lot. Yes, a lot.
So, what would you say your brand is? Like, if you had to describe yourself as if you had to describe your brand, what would that be?
Um, wow. Which one? Let me see. So I would describe my brand as, sincere the model, which is one. Um, my podcast, that too, because that's what I do as well, for my lab side, my medical side. So,
Hmm.
I have that is all tied in with that, and as an author, as an author, published author as well, and a published model.
Hmm.
So, and an entrepreneur. So, of the body seat. So all that's all, yeah, all my brands. So, wow.
You had to encompass that into one. What
Whew.
would it be? Like, if you had to put that under one umbrella,
Mm.
what would you do? How would you do that? Or what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Well, it is under one umbrella, but it's hard because I love them all.
Right. I'm not so you're right. So it all falls under one brand, one
Right.
umbrella. So say somebody said, what do you do?
Oh,
Somebody said, what do you do?
I am sincere the model. I am a community servant. Look, I I am look. I have my own podcast. Let's talk health and wellness. Oh my gosh, I am a published author, and I am the owner of the Body Seat, my
The
body sculpt.
body. Let's
Yeah.
talk about your podcast. Let's talk health and wellness. Let's talk about that.
What like in terms of like what my podcast?
What do you want us to know about
Oh,
your podcast? Let's talk health and wellness. Well, how it originated and
oh,
how it has evolved and what has it's grown to now and what you have plans for the future for that podcast.
oh wow. So it actually started me coming on my sister's show. I actually was only coming on, came on your show, and during that time, opportunity presented itself about because of what I did, me working in
Mm-hmm.
the healthcare field,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that's really dear to me. Mental health, just everything because this is what I do every day. So I ended up with my own podcast. Let's talk health and wellness. Um, I've been blessed to have some amazing guests come on my show, and this is what we talk about: health, wellness, the things that are not so pretty. the
Right.
things that, people don't talk about. And so to have people come on my show and talk about these things that, from suicide, um, kidney disease, you know, um, mental health, all these things that nobody even, really think of, especially when it's coming from the people that you may see every day.
Right.
And then they start talking about these things, and they're like, wow. Because my thing is this: you can do one or two things. You can push a person over the edge or pull them back. So we need to be very careful how we talk to people. Be kind, because you never know what a person is going through.
Exactly.
And so to have them come on and share these stories and stuff, it's my baby. Like I love it. I love it. I love it. I've met some amazing people, from healthcare professionals, obviously,
Hmm.
and everyday people that are just going through and just want to share their story.
You know what? And I am so proud of you
Yeah,
because I remember your first show. I remember your first show. I'm so proud of you. And you know what? You have become an ambassador of health and fashion.
yes, literally, yes.
You
I've been
have become
told that, literally, yes.
you
Someone else said that to me too.
Yeah, you have become an ambassador for health and fashion because, again, of course, we're models and we do all these different things, but we're people, and we have to maintain our health.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have to maintain our health. We're very busy women, and we we get to going, and we don't stop. If sometimes our body stops us. I want to tell you personal
Exactly.
experience. Our bodies will sit us down, and that is something also that I think needs to be touched on. And I'm glad that you're doing it, um, because again, the grind culture, the I'll sleep when I'm dead, the hustle culture, you know, yeah, like you're not doing nothing if you're not grinding. No, I don't agree with that because God didn't put us here just to, we have to rest. It's a reason for rest.
It's very important to rest. And I see it every day, even with high blood pressure. The things that people don't they take so lightly, it's something when you have people coming here in the hospital and for strokes. I mean, stroke after stroke. And I mean, even younger, you have younger people coming in, and just, it's so scary. So,
Mm-hmm.
see all these things, you're like, wow, you really need to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I
So
wanted to
important.
tell you. I wanted to tell you. Full transparency. I had a blood pressure scare, and it sat me down. So
Yeah,
I definitely understand, and I appreciate what you're doing. And again, you are our ambassador of health and fashion.
thank you. You know, and another thing is too, going back to the mental health again, like you said, people they grind it, and they don't even look at it in terms of, taking care of their mental health or their physical. My daughter is also, she's a psych nurse. So
Mm,
the stories, like, people that are having mental breakdowns, being overwhelmed, and they don't realize it until it's too late. And then
right.
you have that whole breakdown. So you really have to take care of your mental,
Mm-hmm.
your physical and your mental. It's so
Exactly. Exactly. And again, this grind culture, this hustle culture is gonna kill us if we don't, if we don't take the time to step back and just look at what we're doing and just take a minute to ourselves. Self-care is a really very important aspect of that. And that's another
And
show
it's
that
okay, and it's okay to not be okay. That's
Mhm.
okay too. If you feel like you're not okay, but get help. Talk to
Mhm.
somebody. It's okay to talk to a
Mhm.
healthcare professional. It's okay to go if you feel like you need to go in a group setting and talk to someone. But don't try to hold it all to yourself and keep it bottled down. That's not good.
Mhm.
And I
Exactly.
can speak on that, even for myself, whether you're going through depression, grief, any of those things, you don't have to battle it alone.
Right.
You don't.
Exactly. Exactly. Now that's another thing that we talk about when we're backstage behind the curtain before we get on. We're mostly a sisterhood,
Right.
And, you know, we're mostly a sisterhood. Again, you do have those ones that, you know,
Hmm.
brand them, you know, that have put this name out for themselves that, you know, people don't want to work with them. But um, what advice do you have for models who don't realize that they are a walking brand? You are a walking billboard for yourself. You are your business. We are models, but we are a business. You know,
Right.
what's your business? I am my business. I am my brand. You know, I say that all the time. I am my brand. What advice do you give to young models who's just out here just thinking, you know, I just need somebody to look at me?
Wow. It's more toward than just that. I would definitely say that, it's work. You know, what you put in is what you're going to get out. You put the work in it, you're going to get good results, but you have to work at it. And it's more toward than just being pretty. You know, you, how you carry yourself, your personality. You know, nobody wants to work with someone that is that's being nasty. They
Hmm.
talk nasty. They have a whole nasty type of disposition. Like they
Right.
just nobody want to work with anyone like that. No other models want to be around that type of behavior.
And
So
let's talk about social media as well. How you present yourself on social media, how that also impacts bookings, how that can make you lose a booking.
yeah.
Just what they see, what you present on social media is more impactful than what some people think.
Oh yes, definitely. It's very big. Because somebody's always watching.
Hmm.
Somebody's always watching what you're doing and what you're posting.
Hmm.
And if you are one of those are not trying to uplift, encourage, and motivate other people, and you're always being negative, complaining, um, you set
Vulgar,
yourself up.
yeah, vulgar, or
Yes.
yeah,
You cannot, because again, somebody's always watching. You don't know the person that could be looking to book you, want to do a show, want to work with you, and then they see something like that. They don't want to work with anybody like that.
right, because they also have a brand. So,
Exactly. And
so
yeah,
you know, and they want people that's going to represent their brand,
right.
and then you want to be. You have to decide at the beginning what kind of model am I going to be?
Exactly.
You know, and that is, and then you stick with that. You stick with that. Now, there's some models that get more attention than others, but you got to look at the type of attention that these women models are getting, the type of shows that they're being booked for. You know, are you being, you know, because there's a lot of shows here in Atlanta. You know, you got shows that take place in nightclubs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I didn't
So
heard stories, and I was in awe.
right,
And I thank God I've never encountered that. And if it's something that I know, if you don't know, we talk, and I'd be like, look, sis, did you see this, or what do you think about this? And
mhm,
that's good that we are in a network of
right,
sisters like that where we can kind of, communicate and lean on each other. Because if it's something that nobody's in our circle have heard about and they not sure, like I don't know about that person or that job, you know.
yeah, but you want to do your research because again, you
Right.
have to determine. A lot of times, those places will gravitate to you because they look at your social media and then
Right.
they see, okay, well, this is how she is, so she'll do this, and
Mhm.
then they'll see, well, this is how she is. She's probably not going to do this because she's not going to wear this. She's not going to do
Right.
these types of shows. But you have to determine what you're going to do, your brand, and your brand precedes you. You know,
Exactly.
people know your brand before they know who you are. So
Exactly.
right, so it's very important, and I can't get this across to my models enough because again, I have been blessed to be in a position to where I can give models opportunities now. And
Yeah.
so thank you. I look at social media. And when I look at social media, you know, I'm looking for models and then I'm looking at what they're posting. how they're carrying themselves, because there's a certain, I have a brand and I need you to represent my brand. My brand is also a ministry, but it's still my brand. And you out
Exactly.
here, so you out here in these streets representing me. I got to look and see what you're doing. I got
Exactly.
to see what you're doing. So it's very important, young ladies, to make the decision at the very beginning. How am I going to be perceived?
Exactly.
How I'm going to present myself. And then
Hmm.
even if you present yourself the way you want to, people are still going to try you. And they're
Yeah,
going to have, and you have to realize that these opportunities, all opportunities are not good opportunities, so
that is true. That is true.
yeah. So give us a word from Sincere the model, a word of encouragement for these young girls who look in and they see us, they see our curves on the runway, and they're so like, man, I did not know that me being made like this, I can actually do fashion shows. I don't have to do OnlyFans. I don't have to be a fetish. I can actually do real fashion. What do you have to say to that young lady?
I would say, because this is personal. Because besides with the curve, being a curvaceous model and being the chocolate model, so you I kind of like but your confidence is everything, and you definitely, I would say, don't give up. If it's something you really want to do, go for it. I always say failing is not an option. Do your homework, do your research, study, you know, work hard at your craft so that when you do get that opportunity, you can get up there and you can go ahead and you can strut and show them just exactly what you're made of, and just keep
Okay.
working at it.
Yeah,
Yes.
practice and keep working at it.
Hmm.
Again, the industry is more accepting of the curvy models now. We still, again, have to work harder than our counterparts, but we are still, we're being more accepted because the majority of the people, a majority of the women out there look like us,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
they spend money too. So it's that people are realizing that now, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
be
so
you, and be you, be useful, be yourself. Don't try to
mhm,
be like the next person. Be yourself.
right,
Create your own walk. You know,
correct.
once you have your walk, that's your walk.
Yeah, learn the basics, but
That's,
make it your own. Make
that's
it
right.
your own. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, sis, tell everybody how we can find you, how we can find your podcast, and how you can be booked for gigs and jobs and all that good stuff.
All right. So my website is www.sincerelysincere.com. My Instagram is doll, as in DOLL, sincere, SENCERE. My podcast is on Let's Talk, Let's underscore talk underscore score health and wellness is on Instagram as well.
Okay. And where can we watch your podcast?
On Evan Vision Only on our media on YouTube. Yes, on
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay, what day do you air?
Every Wednesday, but it is streaming. Once it airs, you can always go back and check out my episodes. But I actually, every Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, my episodes drop.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much again for taking time out of your day, out of your work day,
Of
and
course.
sit with me. I do appreciate you, sis. And
You,
you enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll talk to you later.
you too, sis. Love you.
Love you too.
All
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to a new episode of The Curve Effect with Tammy T. And remember, ladies, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Keep shining. See you next time. Bye bye.